The Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 trailer just shattered every illusion we were holding on to. This is not the soft continuation of a romance. This is not a gentle return to longing glances and stolen dances. This is love under fire, reputations on the edge of collapse, a heart pushed to its breaking point. And if you thought Benedict and Sophie had already faced their greatest obstacle, the trailer makes one thing painfully clear. The real storm is only beginning. Part 2 opens with emotional tension so thick it almost feels suffocating. We are no longer watching a simple love story unfold. We are watching two people stand at a crossroads where one wrong step could destroy everything. Benedict's offer in Part 1 was shocking, but the trailer shows us the consequences are far more devastating than anyone expected. Sophie is no longer looking at him with hopeful uncertainty. There is distance now, hurt, a quiet strength that feels different from before. Because for Sophie, that offer was not protection, it was a reminder that no matter how deeply he cares for her, the world still sees her as less. And the trailer makes it painfully clear that this wound does not heal quickly. She carries it with her in every glance, every pause, every word left unsaid. But the heartbreak does not stop with Sophie. The trailer shows Benedict unraveling in a way we have never seen before. He is no longer the romantic dreamer who believes love can quietly exist without consequence. His expressions shift from confusion to realization, from regret to determination. He begins to understand that what he offered Sophie was not security, it was a compromise of her dignity. And that realization hits him harder than any public scandal ever could. Because now the question is no longer whether he loves her. The question is whether he loves her enough to challenge the world that stands between them. And just as their emotional conflict reaches its peak, the trailer introduces something far darker. Whispers begin to spread. Suspicion moves like a shadow through Bridgerton house. A valuable item disappears, and before anyone can fully understand what is happening, all eyes turn to Sophie. The accusation feels sudden, but the tension in the trailer suggests it was carefully planned, calculated, strategic. Sophie is placed in the worst possible position, a maid accused of theft in a society that already doubts her worth. Her voice against a noblewoman's reputation, the outcome seems predetermined before she even has the chance to speak. What makes this twist even more devastating is the timing. Benedict has just started questioning everything he thought he knew about her. He notices the necklace she guards so fiercely, the way she carries herself with quiet elegance, the intelligence in her words that does not match the life she claims to have lived. He is on the edge of discovering that Sophie may not be who society believes she is, but before he can uncover the truth, she is humiliated publicly. The trailer hints at a moment where she may even be taken away, her future hanging by a thread. And in that instant, the fairy tale shatters completely. This is where the tone of Part 2 becomes unmistakably darker. It is not just about romance anymore. It is about survival, about whether love can stand against accusation, against manipulation, against a system designed to silence those without power. The trailer suggests that Lady Araminta is not acting out of simple jealousy. She is deliberate, observant, fully aware that if Sophie rises, her control collapses. And so she sets a trap that could permanently destroy Sophie's reputation before the truth ever surfaces. Now Benedict faces the most important choice of his life. Does he protect his family's name and remain silent while Sophie suffers, or does he step forward publicly, risking scandal and judgment, and declare that he believes her completely? The trailer lingers on his expression in a way that feels almost symbolic. This is not just about clearing Sophie's name. This is about Benedict deciding who he truly is, a man who loves safely in private or a man who fights openly, no matter the cost. And as February 26th approaches, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This is not simply the continuation of a romance. This is the transformation of it. The trailer promises heartbreak, confrontation, and revelations that could permanently change the Bridgerton family.
Love is being tested in the harshest possible way. And if Part 2 delivers even half of what these hints suggest, we may be witnessing the most emotional chapters the series has ever given us. As the accusation against Sophie spreads, the trailer makes it clear that this is no small misunderstanding that will be resolved in a single conversation. This is a scandal designed to grow. The whispers do not stay inside one room. They move through corridors, across dinner tables, into the very heart of high society. And the most painful part is how quickly people are willing to believe the worst about her. Because in this world, status decides truth. A noble woman's suspicion carries more weight than a maid's innocence, and Sophie knows it. The trailer hints at an isolation closing in around her. The same halls that once felt magical now feel cold. The same people who once ignored her now look at her with open doubt. But what truly breaks your heart is not the accusation itself. It is Sophie's reaction. She does not beg, she does not scream. She stands there with quiet dignity, even as everything collapses around her. And that silence speaks louder than any defense ever could, because she has lived her entire life knowing how fragile her position is. One false move, one powerful enemy, and it can all disappear. Meanwhile, Benedict is no longer standing on the sidelines. The trailer shows a clear shift in him. The softness in his expression is replaced by intensity. He starts asking questions, quietly at first, then more directly. He begins to see the gaps in the story. The accusation feels too convenient, the timing feels too perfect, and slowly the pieces begin to connect. He notices how Lady Araminta watches Sophie. He remembers the tension in past encounters. He realizes that this is not about a missing item, it is about control. But here is where the emotional tension deepens. Even as Benedict fights for Sophie, doubt creeps in from another direction. Not doubt in her innocence, but doubt in himself. Because he knows that his earlier offer pushed her away. He knows that he hurt her pride. And now he fears that even if he defends her publicly, she may never look at him the same way again. The trailer suggests a painful distance between them, moments where they stand only a few steps apart, yet feel worlds away. Love is still there, but trust has been shaken. At the same time, Violet begins to sense that something far more serious is unfolding. The trailer hints at a quiet but powerful conversation between mother and son. Violet has always understood the difference between infatuation and true love. And when she looks at Benedict now, she does not see a man chasing a fantasy. She sees a man terrified of losing the woman who changed him. That realization could push Violet to act in ways that surprise everyone. Because when a Bridgerton loves, they do not love halfway. The investigation into Sophie's past begins almost in secret. Small details gain importance. That necklace she refuses to remove, the way certain names make her expression shift, the refined manners she cannot hide, no matter how simple her clothes may be. The trailer strongly suggests that documents, long forgotten and carefully hidden, may finally come to light. And if those documents prove that Sophie is of noble birth, everything changes overnight. But the reveal will not come gently. The trailer promises confrontation, public exposure, a moment where the truth must stand in front of everyone. And the question becomes even more powerful than before. If Sophie is revealed to be noble, will society suddenly accept her, or will they search for a new reason to judge her? Because Bridgerton has always shown us that society protects its image before it protects justice. And as the pressure builds, Sophie may begin to believe that loving Benedict was the greatest risk she ever took. Because if his fight for her only begins once her birth becomes acceptable, what does that say about their love? That doubt could be the final fracture between them. And Part 2 is not afraid to ask the hardest question of all. Is love strong enough to survive pride, scandal, and public humiliation?
Just when it feels like the storm cannot grow any stronger, the trailer hints at something even more emotional. A transformation, not just in Sophie's status, but in Benedict himself. This is no longer the charming artist who hides behind wit and romance. This is a man forced to confront the privilege he once carried so comfortably.
The accusation against Sophie becomes a mirror, reflecting the harsh reality she has always lived with. For him, scandal is gossip. For her, scandal is destruction. The trailer shows flashes of determination in Benedict's eyes. He is no longer confused, he is focused. And that shift may be the true turning point of Part 2. Because defending Sophie means standing against powerful voices. It means risking his family's reputation. It means declaring in front of everyone that his love is not temporary and not conditional. And if he does that, it will shake the foundation of the very society that once applauded him. But emotional battles are never simple. If Sophie learns that Benedict has been investigating her past, she may feel betrayed again. She may wonder if his courage only arrived once marriage became socially acceptable. The timing of the truth could create one last heartbreaking misunderstanding. The trailer lingers on moments that feel like unfinished conversations, words almost spoken, apologies almost given, and that tension suggests that forgiveness will not come easily. At the same time, another layer of the season begins to unfold. Violet's possible future with Lord Anderson hints at a parallel love story, a mother rediscovering romance while her son fights for his own. The idea of two weddings in one finale feels almost too hopeful, and that is exactly why the trailer makes it feel uncertain, because Bridgerton never gives happiness without first testing it. There are hints of grand preparations, elegant gatherings, guests arriving with polite smiles that may hide judgment. Even if Sophie's name is cleared and her birthright revealed, whispers will not disappear overnight. The Ton remembers everything, and acceptance often comes with conditions. The question becomes whether Sophie can truly feel secure in a world that once tried to erase her. Meanwhile, Francesca's quiet emotional journey adds another layer of depth. The trailer suggests reflection, confusion, and an awakening that challenges societal norms. Her story reminds us that love in Bridgerton is never simple. It evolves, it surprises, it sometimes breaks before it rebuilds. And that emotional complexity adds weight to every other storyline unfolding around her. Part 2 feels like a crossroads for the entire series. The romance is expanding beyond one couple. The stakes are higher, the consequences more permanent, and the emotional impact promises to linger long after the final scene fades. As the finale approaches, the trailer gives us one final, powerful question. Will love triumph loudly, or will it survive quietly? Because this time, survival is not enough. Sophie does not want to be hidden. She does not want to exist in secret corners of Benedict's world. She wants to stand beside him openly, proudly, as his equal. And if Benedict truly understands her now, he must prove it in the most public way possible. The trailer hints at what looks like a proposal, a dramatic pause, a breath held in suspense, but we do not see her answer, and that missing moment says everything. Because this is no longer about a fairy tale rescue, this is about equality. If Benedict kneels, it cannot be out of guilt or obligation. It must be because he sees her strength, her resilience, her dignity, and chooses her completely. Even if weddings fill the final episode with beauty and celebration, the emotional scars of Part 2 will not vanish instantly. Trust must be rebuilt, confidence restored, and society's whispers must be faced together. The joy, if it comes, will feel earned, hard-fought, deeply emotional. But the trailer leaves us with a lingering sense of uncertainty. One last shadow at the edge of the celebration. One last reminder that in high society, happiness is never guaranteed. The camera may pan across grand halls and glowing chandeliers, but the real question remains beneath the surface. Has love truly defeated fear, or is there still one final twist waiting to break our hearts? Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 is not just continuing a romance, it is redefining